Tia Mowry announced her divorce from her husband, who's also an actor, and a lot of people in the manosphere were complaining about it. Shows, oh, modern women, they're ungrateful, they're bad wives. This is why we need the manosphere. Meanwhile, you have some women on the other side like, oh no, celebrating Tia Mowry. Oh, she's great. She's so brave. This is a phenomenal moment in women just owning their own happiness. And I think we need to take a look at this because, as far as, even though we may not know specifics as outsiders, may not know specifics about their relationships, the general ideas and the speculation that's going on, I want to address. Welcome to Escaping the Echo Chamber. I've seen an article written, and the author says that Tia Mowry isn't selfish for choosing her own happiness. Selfish is a word. It has a meaning, an actual meaning. Let's look up the word selfish. Of a person lacking consideration for others, concerned chiefly with one's personal pleasure or profit. That's what the word means. So, before we do anything else, let's make sure we understand that words have meaning and what words mean. As a writer, I would expect the person that wrote this article to know this. This author, Elizabeth Ayula, wrote this article and said, well, women aren't selfish for prioritizing our own happiness because, it's time that we as Black women embrace that. Okay, here's the deal. If you want to prioritize your own happiness, maybe marriage isn't for you. Let's just start with that. Maybe the single life is for you. And if that fulfills you, great. If it doesn't, maybe own, you know what? I didn't make the right choice. There's two things. You can make a choice, which is well within your power, but own, if you made the wrong choice, that's on you. But if you want to get married, marriage, you're making a commitment. And one of the things that are said in the vows, for better or for worse, for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, in sickness and in health, till death do us part. Till death do us part. Not till unhappiness do I part. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she didn't give traditional vows, and her vows were until I'm no longer happy. If those were the vows that Tia Mowry gave at her wedding, okay, my bad. That's on me. If those are the vows she gave, then Cory Hardrict can't really complain because, hey, she told you from the beginning until she's no longer happy. But if her vows were until death do us part, there's a problem. And so this, right now, what we're seeing is this self-centeredness being promoted as a virtue. This putting me first, that's the virtue. Listen, I'm all for individualism, but even as an individual, I understand that other people exist. And if I'm going to enter into a relationship, well, now I am sublimating my individualism for the sake of that relationship. Because especially if it's a marriage, if you are married, if you are a man married to a wife, you've got to consider her needs. You cannot put your needs above hers, especially because as a man, you're the leader. If you're the man, you're the leader, you have got to consider the needs of those you are leading. If you are the wife, you have got to consider what your husband needs. You don't just get to say, oh, it's all about me. Y'all entered a marriage, a contract, a commitment to each other. So no, putting your needs above everybody else's, that's something you should decide before you get married. There's this whole thing about, oh, women need to find ourselves. Well, find yourself before you get married, because you may find out that you don't want to get married and you're not fit for married life. Okay, cool. But don't make the commitment. Don't make the promise. And then, I don't like this. I'm out. And then act like you did nothing wrong. Like you didn't violate your word. Because that's what happened. If you said this is what you're going to do, you don't do it because I feel different now. Okay, that's what you're doing, but don't expect to get awards and be celebrated for violating your word, for not staying true to your word. And this is even worse in this situation because Tia Mowry and her soon-to-be ex-husband have kids. I think they're like 11 and 4, 10 and 4, something like that. So these are kids. These are not, if they were over 18, your kids are grown, do what you will. Your kids are now being affected by seeing the family split apart. Divorce has such a negative effect on kids. As a child of divorce, I speak from personal experience. Yes, it does. So this notion that, oh yeah, Black girl magic, stop with the bullshit. This ain't about Black women. This is about selfishness. That's exactly what this is about. But you're trying to spin the narrative because we saw what the definition of the word is. The definition is putting yourself and your own personal pleasure above the needs of others. Because even if you want to say, oh, a husband isn't making her happy, her kids. So like the man is the leader and he can't put himself above the people he's leading. She's in a leadership position over her kids. And she cannot, a mother that puts her needs above her children's. And you think that that's a good mother? You're out of your fucking mind. You are out of your fucking mind. But like, you've got these people that want to embrace selfishness, but they don't even have the cojones, the balls to just accept that they're selfish individuals. They're self-centered. They want to be selfish and still be celebrated as if they're being virtuous and everything. No, if you want to be a selfish person who does not stand up to your commitments, okay, that's you, but don't expect celebration for being a self-centered asshole. Don't expect that. But like this article is ridiculous in that you're trying to pretend that words and the word selfish doesn't have a meaning, which it clearly does, and which in the context of what you're writing, yes, we're talking about selfishness. Because an 11 and a 4-year-old, their world has been torn apart now by seeing their family fall apart. Their father's living and they're confused. This foundation that they had, this safety, this emotional safety that they once had is gone. And I'm telling you, the effect that this has on kids. So this notion that, oh yeah, this is about black women taking back power. Okay, no. This is about black children being screwed over by selfish parents. And I'm going to say parents because in some cases it's the mother that's making the poor decision. In some cases, the father. Some cases, the father is cheating on his wife, is mistreating his wife, abusing his wife. And if abuse and infidelity is happening, I'm not telling you, oh, just take it. I'm not saying that. We have no evidence that either of those things happen in this case. And that's not what they're celebrating. People are celebrating her for just taking her happiness, putting her happiness above the needs of her kids, above her husband, and above her family as a whole. That's nothing to celebrate. And yes, that's selfish. As always, don't forget to hit the thumbs up, like, share, subscribe if you have not subscribed already. But if you disagree with me, go ahead, feel free to give me a thumbs down and tell me why in the comment section you feel a person should be celebrated for violating their obligations. I'll see you next time.